I am Vinnie Tortorich, folks. Your good intentions have been stolen. But don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, and hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, guaranteed. Yeah, that's Blues Traveler you're hearing in the background. Love those guys. By the way, it's the Monday show, and you know what that means. The beautiful Miss Anna Vocino comes in here. And speaking of Anna Vocino, guess what? Pumpkin marinara. Yeah, it's that season again. You want your pumpkin marinara? Go right now to eathappyfood.com. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that guy, he can rock my nuts right off of my body every time. Oh, man. And I can't believe I hit the post on that one because, folks, what you got to understand.
You hit the what?
I hit the post right before he starts singing. That's what.
I don't know what hit the post mean. Is that like a DJ term?
Yeah, back when I did radio back in the 80s, we would come out of commercials and I would always be doing Cheeseburger in Paradise, and
of course,
always had to hit the post. And but so it's interesting because Gina's always amazed because I'll just pull these songs up, and she goes, "Did you work that out beforehand?" And you were here, and we actually have another guest. She can pipe up right now. Lois is on the other. She's actually on the phone. Lois, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. I pulled this up right.
I love that she doesn't correct you at all. She's like, yeah, it's Lois. It's definitely Lois. Thank you. By the way, and real quick too, just so that the listeners know, Vinny's amazing nut butter company is called NSNGfoods.com. And my amazing sauce and spice company is called eathappykitchen.com. He did say Eat Happy Foods. But that's not a site that you're going to get anything. You're not going to get his delicious nut butters or my delicious sauces if you go to that site. So.
You see, because I was listening to the song.
I know you're like, I'm juggling a lot of balls here.
Yeah, I don't know when he's going to.
I got to get Lois on the line.
Yeah, Lois is on the line. I don't know when.
A lot of pressure, Ben.
When
I understand.
Starts singing, and one thing leads to another.
It's all good.
I should practice these things, but eathappykitchen.com.
We figured it out.
Yeah. We should start a company called eathappyfoods.com. And
I think this is where you heard it here first, folks.
So I need to know, Lois, this song is long after the dumpster. This came around 1991, 92, right?
I believe so, yeah.
What year were you guys out of the trailer park?
The campground?
Yeah, the campground.
Thank you for so politely correcting him. Lois is nothing if not a lady.
Let's see. My parents owned it from about 1973, and they moved out. Well, he stopped running it around 1986, 87, and but they stayed on the property and then sold the land around 1994.
Yeah, Blues Traveler 4. That had to be out by then.
I saw Blues Traveler in concert.
Did you really?
Yeah. I think it was it a Lollapalooza situation, or were they at something? There was something else like Widespread Panic, Blues Traveler.
They probably.
I feel like I saw Blues Traveler open for Fish at really early 90s.
I'm going to pretend you didn't say that.
I'm sorry that I've seen Blues Traveler a lot, and you were upset that they opened for Fish.
Well, yeah, they opened for Fish, which is the problem, but you're a deadhead. So.
Yep.
That's, always forget that about you.
Yep.
Lois, this is not, Lois, we were talking to her before the show because we had to do some clerical stuff. And I said, oh, just hang out for a minute because I want to talk to you about a couple of things. But I was watching a show the other night, Anna, and a very popular, beautiful actress was on the show.
Uh-huh.
And I went, she reminds me of someone. And I just kept going through. Now, as you know, I think you look like that blonde actress from Canada. And I can't think of her name right now. She was, you know who I'm talking about. I've actually told you this before. You know who I'm talking about?
Me?
No, Anna.
Mm-hmm.
Anna.
Okay.
Oh, wait, me?
Yeah, who's the woman? Yeah.
Wait, you told me that Lois looks like the blonde actress from Canada.
No. Hang on. I've told you before.
It's the guy. He lives in the canyon. You know the guy? and he talks on and he lives in the canyon. You know that guy?
Yeah. He's got a beard.
He's got a beard, and he talks and
All right, so
in a
Anna,
microphone.
Anna,
Yeah.
let's do you
Mhm.
first.
Okay.
All right. So, something Cusbit or who's the actress I think you look like?
Me?
Yeah. Elizabeth Cuspit. What's her name?
You've never said these words to me.
Yeah. She's a blonde actress from Canada.
I get Bonnie Hunt sometimes.
No, you don't look like Bonnie Hunt.
But a blonde, that's the only blonde actress that people say that I remind them of.
Okay.
Me.
Now you see, now we got to go down a rabbit.
This is a fun show so
All
far.
right, we have to go down a rabbit hole.
Elizabeth Cuthbert.
Yeah. Her.
Is
You
that
know
a
who she is?
Marilla Cuthbert is the mom in Anne of Green Gables, the adoptive mom in Anne of Green Gables.
Let me look up Elizabeth.
Cuthbert?
Yeah.
Elizabeth Perkins.
No.
Okay. Elizabeth.
Yeah. You look like Elizabeth Cuthbert.
Okay.
Look at her. The only difference is she's got blonde hair.
Okay.
You guys have the same.
I'm scared to look. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
Because whenever people do that, then you look at the person, you're like,
It's actually, she goes by Alicia. I'm sorry. Eli.
Oh, Alicia. Well, that's a huge compliment. You have told me that. It's
Yeah.
not Elizabeth. That's Alicia Cuthbert. I don't look like her. She's so hot.
Yeah. Okay. Lois, pull up Alicia Cuthbert.
I have.
Okay. Does she look like Anna?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. She does, right? And
Yeah. There's a couple pictures.
now, if you see her
Anna's blonde.
if you see her in videos, you know, the expressions and everything really makes her look like Anna.
Okay. Are you guys like punking me right now? Did you
No.
plan this?
No, but here's
'Cause I'm not having a great day to be punked. Do you
By
know
the
what
way,
I'm saying?
you know, she's married to like a hockey star, Anna. So she's like rock star married. Okay, so I'm watching a show the other night, and I'm watching this beautiful actress, and I do mean beautiful. And I was like, man, who does she remind me of? Who does she remind me? And all of a sudden, I went, oh, it's Lois.
Who is it?
Lois, do people ever say you look like someone famous?
Yeah.
Who do
Over
they?
the years, it's changed. And funnily enough, is none of those three actresses look anything like each other.
Okay,
That's funny. That's funny.
Can we hear the three? Because apparently Anna thinks I'll look like a guy that's 10 years older than me.
In my 20s, I got Demi Moore. In my more like 30s and so, I got Gina Davis. And the most recent one was, I can't think of her name, but she was Jean Grey in X-Men.
Anna's looking it up.
I'm looking it up.
Jensen, Famke.
Oh, that's who I see the most. Famke Janssen. She was what movie she was in? She was so good. She's Dutch, but she's in a.
But
You do look like her. I can totally see Famke Janssen. Yep.
All right, I'm going to throw this out there. And if you would have asked me this 10 years ago, I would have said, nah. But in today's world, you guys look a lot alike.
You have to look at this picture of her. I'm putting it in the chat, Vinny. You have to look at this picture.
Okay, go on.
Famke Janssen. Click the link in the chat. You have to look at that picture. That looks like a darker haired Leona. Lois, sorry.
Text it to me.
By the way, today, you guys, we are going to be talking about restaurants, how to order NSNG, going to different types of restaurants, brought to us by listener question from Eric Wolf. We're going to do a little tribute, and we're going to figure out who Lois looks like first.
Okay, I see what you're talking about.
Thank you.
But I got one that does better than that.
Okay.
And again, this woman doesn't look anything like Famke Janssen. She doesn't look anything like, but she looks like Lois.
Okay.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh, I can see that. Yep.
Boom.
Oh, no way, man.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah. Yeah. I was watching her from a movie a few years ago. She was horrible in the movie. The movie sucked. As a matter of fact, I don't know how she ever became an actress, except for the fact that she's gorgeous. And I'm sitting there going, who does she look like? And I came up with, I went, oh, she looks like Lois.
Really? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
I'm totally with that.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Now, Lois,
thank you. I mean, thank you. Don't.
Lois, you have to go. Listen, Lois, here's the thing. You need to go back on her about 7 or 8 years before she got too pumped up with the duck lips. Because she's gone overboard now. She's 50 something and she decided, women, let me make a public service announcement right now.
Don't do it, Vin. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't
do it. Nope.
Why?
Don't do it.
Why?
We don't need, just don't.
Okay.
Let people do whatever the fuck they want to do to their faces.
All right.
And let it go.
All right, women, let me do a different public service.
Okay, great.
Women, fuck up your faces all you want. There you go.
There we go.
Okay. Now
I like to normalize saying who the fuck cares what people do to themselves. You know what I'm saying? Who cares?
Now, Lois, I need to know, how's your exercise regimen going? You and I have talked before. I've given you weightlifting routines. You know, sometimes you're doing a tough mutter. You're doing this kind of stuff.
She's doing something because we got the text.
What are you doing?
What am I doing? I work out about 3 times a week. I'm still trying to amplify that. It varies, but I do well. I do lift heavy, and I walk every day at least. I do like hanging abs every day, and
oh, that's intense.
And so it's getting there. It's better. I go through phases, you know, where I'm more active than others. But I'm doing pretty good. I'm getting stronger, and I just signed up for another Spartan race. I decided I need a specific goal. So that'll be Monterey, and that'll be my birthday week next summer. And I'm looking forward to it. It's a good race. Monterey is a good race, and it gives me a specific goal, and I'm looking forward to it.
Have you ever done a tough mutter?
No.
She has. Oh, I thought you did.
No, she does the Spartan races.
Oh, the Spartan's different. Okay.
Yeah. Last night, you know, I've been taking rowing classes, and now we're doing intermediate rowing. I've graduated out of beginner, and a lot of the people from the beginner class, not a lot, but a few, have come over to intermediate. And there's this woman, I can't remember her name. It's a funny name. She's got an accent. So she's not originally from here. She's got a very strong accent. She's got to be 60. She's older than me, 65-ish. And she's in incredible shape. And yesterday she shows up with a Tough Mudder t-shirt.
Oh.
And I went, oh, you do Tough? Oh, yeah. You know, we did them together. And I went, oh, you and your husband? She goes, no, me and my daughter. It was our thing to do. And I said, and she goes, we don't do it anymore. And I said, why? And she goes, well, we stopped during the pandemic, and we just haven't cranked it up again.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something darker.
No.
Good God. The way you worded it in the past tense really scared me.
Well, she goes, we used to do it. And, you know, and she went on to explain, we stopped during the pandemic. We were signed up to do our 5th one and pandemic and the whole thing. And I said, well, obviously you stay in great shape. You're doing, you know, you're in the second version of doing this rowing thing. You know, she shows up in bike shorts, which means she cycles, right? She does all this stuff. Very active woman. And, you know, I'm looking at her going, well, why did you guys stop? And she goes, well, you know, the pandemic, and they canceled the event. I said, well, are they having the event again? And she goes, yeah. And I didn't say anything else. She went, you know what? I need to call my daughter. We need to sign up for another one. It's almost like people are still in that pandemic mode. If that makes am I making any sense here?
Yeah, but
yeah,
get out of it, people. It's time to do some things.
Now, Lois, I know you're not in that mode because you've done a Spartan since the pandemic, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So this will be your next one for your birthday.
All
right.
And hopefully I don't give myself another broken ankle for my birthday. Though.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
That's not a nice present.
No, but no, it's a good challenge, and then I love the race, and my goal is to do better than I did last time as far as how many obstacles that I conquer, and so that's good. I'm really working on my grip strength. That's part of what the hanging abs is for, and everything is just get that grip strength, because those are the obstacles that are most challenging for me. Like
So
monkey
whenever
bars
you
and
don't
all
do an
that.
obstacle, you have to do something else, right?
Yes, you have to do 30 penalty burpees.
Yeah.
No.
So
Oh.
how many penalty burpee groups did you have to do last time?
Well, okay. I have to pivot that a little bit, because my last race was in a stadium race, and the stadium race rules are slightly different. In order to keep the flow going and everything, they shorten it to where it's only 15 penalty burpees. But on the outdoor events, on trail race ones, it's 30 burpees. So the last outdoor one I did was, let's see, math. It was like 75, because didn't I donated to your superfan page at the time, and I think it was 75 burpees I ended up having to do.
Okay, so I'm not, but how many groups? So 75, so divided by 15, that's 2, 4. You did 5 groups of penalty burpees. Is that correct? Yeah, 5 times 15.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take your word for it.
Let's try to make this time around 0 penalties.
Okay.
Let's make that a goal, that you're going to
Okay,
do everything. Now, don't break an ankle or anything, but
No. Okay. All right. I will do my best. There's one that is my nemesis, and that is the rope climb. And I've never been able to do a proper climb.
Yeah.
And it goes up to 25 feet, and I kind of don't want to fall from 25 feet.
well, you got to hang on.
Well, I know, but that one I always kind of, there's rope climb. Okay, step aside, do my burpees. I'll go.
So do you get to use your legs too, or you got to climb just with your arms?
No, you can use your legs. It's just that I've never optimized the skill set for it. So and the grip strength. I can't pull myself up high enough to get long enough to get my feet wrapped properly in order to progress up the rope.
Okay, here's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make, is that the only, because 25 feet, if you fell, I would never forgive myself.
Right.
So you're going to let this one slide?
I'm going to let, that one I'll let go, but all the rest.
Wow. I think it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. You can, yeah, I mean, that's the best deal in town, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I can do it.
When I saw that text come, Leona, I was like, oh, it's going to go down. It's going down.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Laura's going to get you ready.
We won't hold you up anymore. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And Anna's going to get on. We're going to get on because Anna wants to talk about, unless you want to hang out, or you have somewhere to go?
No, I'm here. It's up to you guys.
All right. What do you think, Anna? Wait, let's have a little meeting, Anna. Should we let her get out or get rid of her?
I think we should let her hang out.
Just let her hang out.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I like her. Yeah.
She's kind of cool. I mean,
yeah, we should keep
let her in the cool kids. Yeah. Okay. Leona, you can hang out.
Vinny, we're not cool. I don't know if you know that.
No, we're pretty cool.
Oh, are we?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
All right. So, Anna.
Yeah.
Restaurants.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Restaurants.
NSNG in restaurants. Can we give like some overall blanket statements about restaurants?
Yeah.
First?
Can I start?
Yeah.
Folks, restaurants are very, very expensive. That's number one. You're going to be paying a ton more for food. It's not because they're trying to rape you. It's just that they work on a very tight margin. And because of that, you're going to have a problem. You're going to be paying more for less. And what I mean by that is you could get a lot more protein at home. That's number one. If you're getting fish or chicken or red meat, you're going to be spending more and getting less. And most of the time, they're going to use seed oils to cook it, right?
Correct.
Even in high-end restaurants, these people have to cut costs. So people always say to me, do you eat in restaurants? I'm down to eating in restaurants when we have to now.
Right.
I can't believe in LA I would eat in restaurants so often because
so much.
I was just on the road all day, right? I was just always on the road. Now I have my life set up to where I don't have to eat in restaurants very often. So I just wanted to make that statement right from the top. That being said, we all find ourselves in restaurants quite often. Of course. Now, my favorite is steakhouses. They're expensive. It's a night out. You're getting a good quality cut of meat if you go there. And you can usually stay away from seed oils if you stay away from salads. Do you agree, Anna?
Yeah, I know a lot of people who bring their little travel Villa Capelli in with them. Or if you just want to put the vinegar and maybe some salt on the salad, you could do that. But generally, even if they say it's real extra virgin olive oil and they bring you the little caddy with the oil and vinegar, generally it's cut with seed oils, sadly.
Yeah.
And if you get a pre-made dressing, it definitely 1000% has seed oils. I was sitting one time having, in New York, everything's done out in the streets, so you see what's going on. And I was sitting across from a place and having a coffee and just watching them load in early in the morning into a restaurant, like a very famous high-end restaurant in the village, in the West Village, and just watching them load in the giant 10-gallon drums of the seed oil into like what is arguably one of the best restaurants in New York City.
Yeah.
Was like, and you can't blame it because here's the thing. Restaurants have already a terrible profit margin. They make their money off of alcohol. So the food, they got to figure out ways to make it good, but they're going to have, some ways that they're going to cut corners, and oil is one of the ways.
Yeah, I think I had mentioned during the pandemic, and look, I felt bad for restaurants. Many of them closed. Over 100,000 restaurants in this country closed. They couldn't hang on. And there was one, I'm not going to give the name. There was one down the street. Selena was out with friends. And so I went to this restaurant because I didn't think I had. And I'm going to just get the fish. I'm going to get the salmon. And I posted this. I think I posted it on my Twitter back then. They brought me this little, like 2 fingers. I mean, the piece of salmon was about 2 fingers big. And it was draped.
It's so upsetting.
I told them, I said, just put it over broccoli or something like that. So it was a big pile of broccoli.
So it's $40 of broccoli and a tiny piece of salmon.
And when the waitress put it down, I went, she goes, is there a problem? I went, yeah. I ordered salmon. And she goes, yeah, it's salmon. You wanted it over broccoli, right? I went, yeah. There's no salmon on it. Oh, yeah, that's the proper amount. I said, you're telling me that this is what you're serving. I'm paying a premium for this. So
was it even 3 ounces, do you think?
No. Anna, you see my 2 fingers?
I would say that's 2 ounces.
I have 2 fingers side by side.
Right.
And it was about as thick as my fingers. You tell me what that is.
I mean, if it was as thick as maybe 1.5 ounces, honestly.
I would have guessed it was 2.5 ounces.
Because if a 3 ounce is supposed to be the palm of your hand,
nowhere near that. So she goes, I can get the manager. And I said, okay, that's fine. And the manager came out and she goes, is there a problem? I said, yeah, I haven't touched this yet, as you can tell. And this is not an appetizer. Did I order an appetizer? She goes, no, that's the entree. I said, she goes, sir, we measure all the fish. We weigh all the fish.
What did she say it weighs?
I said, and what do you guys And she goes, 6 ounces. And I said, okay.
What? Get out of here.
I said, okay.
Get out of here.
I said, does this look like 6 ounces to you? She goes, sir, I assure you, we weighed it. And I said, ma'am, I hear the words coming out of your mouth. I'm asking you a personal, I'm not, we're not in a court of law here. I'm not recording you. Does this look like a serving that you would serve someone an entree of a protein in a restaurant? And she goes, but we weigh it. I said, okay.
She wouldn't budge.
I said, okay, you weigh it? She goes, yes. I said, go in the back and get your scale and bring it out here. And she goes, well, I can't do that. I said, why? I said, I'm going to ask you one more time. Does this look like a normal amount? And she said, actually, no. I said, now, was that so hard?
Yeah, exactly.
Was that? So she says, I tell you what, eat that and we'll bring you another piece. And it was another piece about that size. I get what they were doing. They were having trouble during the pandemic, but you can't injure the people.
Yeah, but you can't say that's 6
out.
ounces and then it cooked down to 1.5 ounces. Like
No,
what?
I cook salmon at home all the time.
Yeah, that's
salmon
silly.
doesn't shrink up, right? It's not like it doesn't seize up like meat might seize up.
No,
it just doesn't. It was crazy, you know.
Crazy.
So, folks,
well,
restaurants. So that's not what we're going to talk about here. But
it's funny that you say steakhouse because I'm actually the opposite. Because where I live in cattle country. We have amazing steakhouses here, and I'm like, I don't know. I'd rather make a steak at home because I can get like a crazy good steak for about a quarter to a third of the price of what they're charging at the steakhouses. So I kind of feel like I save my restaurant splurges for other kinds of food, but you do need to know, and life is going to happen. You're going to have business meetings. You're going to have family events. You're going to have things that happen, and you're going to need to know how to get that NSNG, and also too ordering takeout and DoorDash and Uber Eats and all that stuff, because a lot of times they won't let you customize the order. So you're going to get the fries that come with the thing because you can't customize the order. And so you just need to like be prepared mentally and emotionally to not dig into those fries, you know, and that's sometimes hard. It's easier when you call on the phone and say, hey, just give me the side salad or whatever, not the fries, you know.
The only time we used the service was during the pandemic, going back to that.
Mm-hmm.
Serena's, you know, she was doing all the cooking and her brother was stuck with us during the pandemic, which was great because it gave me someone to hang out with. And Tallulah would come over and we would all have dinner and all that. And we would order in, and these DoorDash type places would come. The money we spent.
Oh, it's because it's fees on top of fees. And you definitely need to tip the driver, guys. You got to tip your driver. Please don't, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy how terrible of a business model it is for those delivery drivers. But
I thought they got paid. I don't know, because we don't do it anymore. We only did it for a short period. And then I have
a lot of comic friends, and a lot of them drive it, and they don't seem to make any mony. Okay. So I will say,
do they get zero from the restaurant?
I don't know how it works. I can't speak to that, but I hear them saying often how difficult it is. However, that being said, there are also some DoorDash drivers who are dickheads. We don't have delivery services here where I live. So it's either you're going to the restaurant or you're going to make something at home. And oftentimes restaurants are closed Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So definitely cooking at home Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But you're going to I love going to New York because then I get to hit all my favorite spots. My Vietnamese place, my Thai place, not Mexican or sushi, obviously, because you do that in California. No. But so Mexican, let's just talk about ordering at the Mexican restaurant. To me, going to a Mexican restaurant is the easiest. The only thing you got to look out for is those chips, and everybody just maws on those chips. A lot of places will now bring you a vegetable, but cut up like carrots and celery, which is great. But a lot of places also won't do that. So if you're going to get, I always will immediately order guacamole, and you can literally eat it with a fork. Because what that does is it starts to get you a little full. So if you're really hungry, that will like keep you from chowing down on those chips. And trust me, you don't want the chips. You don't want to give in for those chips. They are trash. The corn is so inflammatory. They're fried in seed oils. You will wake up with a puffy face and achy joints the next day. I promise you. I promise you that.
Hey, Lois, where do you and Tom go when you guys go out?
We do have a favorite restaurant here in town, not too far away, and it's not a steakhouse, but it's got a wide range of, I guess you would call California cuisine, but I almost always get the steak, and I substitute vegetables, usually like asparagus or broccoli or whatever they have. And it's always good. And the thing is about this particular one, what we like too is they do seem to try to like serve things with like real butter, or like I guess there's really not 100% way for me to tell as a customer unless I go back to the kitchen and see what they have in their fridge. But I don't get any reactions like, if something's really pumped up with seed oil and stuff, I feel it like the next day, right?
Me too.
I get that kind of brain foggy or it's just, you feel kind of sloggy. And with this restaurant, we don't feel that way. And so that's one of the reasons it's good food and I never feel that way. So, but it's like, we never go to Italian, we never go to Mexican and stuff. And not that you can't find options at a Mexican place, but it's just 90% of the menu is stuff I can't eat. So, it's, we just make it simple and kind of keep it to ourselves.
Well, so let me start to talk about Mexican food and how to look at that. Mexican cuisine is really wonderful at the braised meats. Meaning they slow cook roasts like carnitas. They also will grill meats like carne asada. So the trick is being able to order those things without any of the tortilla wrappings, no enchiladas, no burritos, no tacos. Or if you do order tacos, just know you're going to eat the meat out of the inside, and then no rice and beans. So, I feel like at least in SoCal, Mexican restaurants are now used to people cutting out a lot of the carbs, so that they're pretty accommodating with it. But if you stick with like chili Colorado, if you stick with carnitas, if you stick with carne asada, they also have a lot of grilled shrimp. And if you can go to fajitas, and I just tell them, don't even bring me any tortillas. You get the fajitas with the onion and pepper and then the meat. And generally, if you get a side of avocado, you're going to get pretty full. You're going to be able to get full from your food. Italian is a little more difficult, but they always have a secondi piatti, which is second course. And they'll always have a grilled fish. They'll always have usually a New York or some sort of steak, but New Yorks are very popular at Italian American restaurants. And usually a roasted chicken, like a Tuscan roasted chicken, which is just basically chicken with lemon, olive oil, and rosemary. And so it is possible. But the thing is that you have to do with restaurants, I think, is the mental prep of going, everyone else is going to be ordering the pasta bolognese. Everyone else is going to be getting the chips. Everyone else is going to be getting the burritos and the chimichangas. You know what I mean? So you have to like prepare yourself to go, you know what? I'm not missing out on anything.
Right.
I'm feeding myself what my body needs to stay on track to my goals, Because sometimes it can feel but I want to eat the fries, or I want to have what they're having. And you think you do in the moment, but you don't afterwards when you feel like
do you feel, because you see, I've been doing this for so long that I don't, people go, well, you're stoic. And it's like, no, when you stay away, but Leona, you haven't been doing this for a gazillion years. Do you still go, oh, I'm missing out. Oh, I want to have those fries, or that whatever smells so good, that kind of thing?
Actually, it's pretty rare. Like, I am so comfortable with NSNG and how I feel on it. And to me, I get better food, right? I get better food when I'm ordering the steak and the grilled asparagus or something instead of the fries. I mean, do I take a nibble of a fry? Sure, I can. But I don't miss it like I thought, because, when I first started, I had those concerns, like, what am I not going to be able to have, or everything.
Right.
But when you're so satisfied for what you do have, the temptation to go off the rails is pretty minimal. I mean, I don't get in the restaurant and wish I had the fries or want to order the whatever, all the extra things.
Right. The rice and beans.
Yeah, I don't.
In fact, if you go back to
I really
tasting
don't.
rice and beans after being NSNG for a while, you're like, wow, that has literally no flavor. I can't believe I used to eat a whole
Yeah.
serving of that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, and speaking of Mexican though, Mexican restaurants though too, if the Mexican restaurant you go to makes the guacamole at the table side, go for that, because then you are literally
That's so
seeing
true.
everything that is going in
That's
to your
true.
guacamole.
I know sometimes you can order guacamole and you're like, oh, this is some of that like pre-made piped stuff that has like crap in it to keep it from discoloring. And, you know, listen, sometimes you don't know what you're going to get. And that's part of it. I will say,
But hang on, it is because, you know, all the Mexican restaurants in California did the tableside guac. Is that a thing anywhere else? Maybe Arizona does it, maybe because of a big Mexican community there too. But do you think they're doing that throughout the country?
That's a good question. I don't know.
all I know is if you're in New Mexico, it is right now, you're in the middle of Hatch chili season. So you better be out there ordering everything Hatch chilies
Yeah.
forever and ever and ever. I'm obsessed with it. I will say we went to this winemaker's dinner recently and I looked at the menu and everything's gluten-free, and the not the winemaker, but the guy who runs the tasting room, he's like, I looked on the menu, everything's gonna be gluten-free for you. I was like, oh, that's great. That's so nice. And in fact, it was grain-free too, because it was like more like high-end, fresh, farm to table kind of stuff, which generally doesn't have a lot of grains when people, because they're cooking meats and vegetables and they're serving that. When I did notice, I was like, I'm like really hungry. Like at the end of that meal, I was like, I need to go out to dinner. Like I was like so hungry. So that if that does happen because like you're just particularly hungry that day, or maybe you wound up fasting and skipping lunch and not meaning to, but I always say like always order an extra side of avocado if you can. Like a lot of restaurants will have that. Or for example, I remember one time I was out, I think we were in Kansas City and I was out to dinner with Vinnie and Andy, and I ordered the burger, no bun, and a little side salad. And the burger came and it was like this tiny little patty. And I was like, yeah, like as soon as they delivered, I was like, I'm going to need a second one of these. And I know it seems like spending too much money, but sometimes when that happens, it's like, I don't care. I need to get full. Right. And then other times I just can have the smaller portion and be fine. It just, generally I always do say if there's a burger on the menu, wherever you're going, you're going to be in good shape, because you can always do a burger, no bun, and add on bacon and cheese and avocado and get full.
Whenever I'm out with Coddy Cod, he will always order, if we're doing hamburgers, he will order 3 or 4 hamburgers. And I'm like, dude, he'll just take with him. Like when we were in Lone Pine, doing all the climbing, he would order 3 or like 5 hamburgers, just take some with him.
Yeah.
And I started the same thing. It's like, I'm gonna get hungry later too. Wait, hang on, I'm obligated to do this.
Yeah, you are obligated. I was waiting for it to happen.
It's the billionaire Don Connington's Friday 5 o'clock. Have a good weekend. Billionaire.
Oh, wow, it doesn't want to go away.
It's looped. Let's talk about Asian restaurants, because I feel like those are very tricky. And by the way, I want to also real quick say, the feeling of feeling like you're left out or not getting to have the yummy things that everybody else is having. I'm just speaking to when you first start NSNG and people go through what I like to call the temper tantrum phase, where you're like, oh, that's not fair. I want to be able to eat that. And I get it. And we're here and we understand that. And eventually it will change over for you, where you're not going to be as, for lack of a better word, triggered by what you see. I can't tell you the number of times over the years that I'm having food with people and they're apologizing to me because I can't eat the whatever gluten thing that they're having. And I'm like, you don't seem to understand that I do not care. I do not care that you can eat that and I can't eat that. It's totally fine. Like, I'm not of the school of thought where we all have to eat the exact same thing in order for everybody to feel comfortable or happy at a table. Like, I just don't agree with that. So, but Asian restaurants sometimes can be a little tricky because there's added sugar and added salt, and I
just stay away from
hidden
as much as possible.
That's why I write a lot of recipes for different types of Asian food, because I want there to be alternatives that you can just make at home, because it is tricky. Or like Vietnamese food generally is the best at gluten-free, because they don't do a lot of hidden soy sauce, and but that's not always true. Like there's things like banh mi and the pancakes and things like that you have to be really careful of. So again, most cultures have either braised meats or grilled meats. So try to find that on the menu. And I think Thai food might be one of the most difficult ones. So just see if they will do a grilled piece of fish or a grilled, but yes, they are going to be, oh, I got a filet, red curry filet mignon. So good, right? But I tasted, it was like drowning in this really sugary red curry sauce. And so I was like, oh, that's a bummer. So you just do the best you can or avoid it altogether. Japanese is also going to be easier because you can order sashimi and just don't tell them not to let them put any ponzu or soy sauce or anything on there. Just have the sashimi. There are some vegetables that you can have, but it is going to be a little trickier with Thai food. I can't remember the last. I can't go to a Chinese food restaurant. That's just not something there. It's if there's one dish that has flour on it, that means flour is all over the kitchen. So for me, I have to avoid that for celiac. So I can't remember the last time I went to a Chinese restaurant. You guys write us on Twitter if you found something NSNG that you can get at a Chinese restaurant, because that might be helpful.
I've never seen it. It's crazy. It tastes, to me, Chinese food, whenever people will go, oh, let's do Chinese food. I know for a fact I haven't had it.
It tastes like junk food.
In 15 years, but it tastes like dessert.
Oh God.
The whole meal
at like least dessert. 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying 15 years. I can't remember. Go on.
I'm sorry. What are your thoughts on Korean barbecue? Because I mean,
I can't have it. It's covered in soy sauce.
Because some of the meats that they bring out that you get a grill at your little table, sometimes I often wonder if they're marinated.
Well, ask them if they can give you something that's not marinated in soy and sugar. Then that's great. But oftentimes it is. That's the bulgogi is like, soy and sugar. That's what it is. That's what and sesame. That's what the marinade is.
How about you just
the sesame being the least egregious of anything?
How about you just eat American food?
Yeah, America.
American food.
Listen, bulgogi is good though. I get it, but it's also sugar meats, and I feel like if you've been on NSNG for any length of time, same with Mongolian barbecue. If you've been on any NSNG for any length of time, you're going to lose the taste for it, or you'll have a bite and you'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe that I ate. It's going to taste very cloying, and you don't want to eat cloying meats. You want to eat manly meats, salty meats.
Yeah.
Not little cloying, sugary meats. What other kinds of food? What are we missing here? Oh, French restaurants are pretty easy because they have a lot of eggs, a lot of cream, a lot of meat, a lot of fish. Just you can't have a croque monsieur or croque madame. You at a real French bistro, they will make you an omelet for dinner that's actual egg and not like an IHOP omelet where they put flour in their egg mixture. I would avoid IHOP altogether. When you're going to chains, Vinny's famously told the swirl. Is it swirl or twirl?
Whirl.
Whirl.
HIRL.
Okay, whirl. Vinny has the whirl story from Red Lobster where he got sick off of dredging his He just had lobster and butter dip. It turns out the butter dip was...
It was all just seed oil. It was some concoction.
Whipped seed oil.
Our friend Davey Robinson was the one to tell me, he heard the show, and I was like, and he said, yeah, I used to work in a restaurant, and that drawn butter is not butter at all. It was like eating, Crisco or something, it was just eat, hydrogenated seed oil that they make taste like drawn butter.
Right.
And, man,
they whip it and then they melt it and put it in the thing, and they season it correctly so that you think that you're having drawn butter.
Yeah, and I had like a big giant lobster, and I dipped every piece in that. And I was even dipping. I had them bring me extra because we were on the floor of this convention all day, and I had them. I was like, bring more, because I was dipping my broccoli in it.
You were hungry.
Yeah, I was hungry. I hadn't really eaten breakfast. I was doing OMAD that day, Anna. OMAD.
OMAD.
Yeah.
Well, Vinny got OMAD once he got sick from the whirl.
I was up at 2 a.m, every joint in my body, because I'm like Evel Knievel. I've broken everything. And I was in pain. I was just in pain. And I was like, man, I didn't have any. Usually it's grains, it's sugar. It's like if I had some kind of cake or something, that'll usually get me a little bit. This was inflammation, just
deep in your bones, just deep.
Yeah, it was not messing around.
That's how I feel after I have corn chips at the Mexican restaurant. So I've learned, like, don't even have a few. It's not worth the pain.
Have we done a Villa Capelli ad here?
No. Villa Capelli is the best olive oil on the planet. If you can get their little to-goes, their little small travel things, and bring them with you, that would be ideal. And then you can drizzle that and some salt on your salad, and you'll be so happy that you did. It's the best olive oil on the planet. Or you can just get the lemon oil and take that in your purse. Why wouldn't you? Just do it. Take that to the restaurant. They've been sponsors of the show for a very long time. Vinny and I were I would say drinking and eating Villa Capelli olive oil long before they became sponsors, but it's wonderful at home in a dressing, in a marinade, sauteing your vegetables in it, frying up some chicken in it. It's truly just delicious and very, very small runs of olive oil. So, and it's honestly very fairly priced for it being 100% real extra virgin olive oil, meaning it's the first press that comes out of the olive. They're not reusing the olive to try to get the dregs out of there. So you'll taste the difference when you get it. It tastes, it's got the peppery Puglia pinch. It's got the olive taste. You'll taste it. If you want to get your hands on some, go to villacapelli.com. That's 2 P's and 2 L's in Capelli. And use the discount code Vinnie, VINNIE. You'll get 10% off your order each and every time. Now, Vinny and I always say order around $145 to $150. Use that discount code Vinnie. You'll get 10% off your order, and you'll still qualify for the free shipping. So very important. Get the 3-liter tin. Just dive right in. You won't regret it.
That's the way you want to go. Anna, by the way, and I guess Leona, I'm asking you this too. Have you guys seen my Throwback Thursday photo from today?
Oh my God, you look so good. I love that photo. You actually reminded me of George in that photo.
Oh, me and George. Oh, we'll talk about that in a second.
We'll talk about George. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I put up one of the old portfolio, someone will write, "This is obviously photoshopped."
So, oh, really? People don't believe you? You're like, this is literally my body.
Yeah, Photoshop did not exist in 1991. You realize?
Did they think that you imported it and then like drew on some ads,
fixed it or something? Can't they tell that that's not photoshopped?
I think people are just so used to having the wool pulled over their eyes. But this is what I'm saying: you can't win for trying, Vinny. Yeah. You just can't.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
But I loved the picture. I thought it was awesome. Was that a modeling job, or is that just you like on rocks?
No, that
was flexing on rocks.
No, I'll tell you what that was. I actually, I don't remember a lot of photos, but things like that I remember. I was hiking. Obviously, it was kind of a wintry day, and I was hiking at the Hollywood sign. You know,
not winter according to the rest of the country, but winter according to California.
Yeah, it was. You know, that's why I had jeans on. You know, it's like we were just. And I was walking with a friend of mine, this chick who's a photographer, and she just took her camera everywhere. So it was professionally done. That's why the light is so perfect.
Yeah, it looks really good.
She goes, "Hey, stand right there." And then she did the whole thing. She goes, "Take your shirt off." You know, because we were
okay, baby.
Together. We were sleeping together. So it was, you know. And she goes, "It still doesn't look right. Take your shoes off." And I'm like, "What are you doing?" But photographers have a thing, and when photographers are doing photography things,
right?
And that photo ended up in my portfolio because you didn't want to just put ads. You wanted to, you know, put, "Hey, look, you know." And that was back in the days when I always had to be shaven.
Editorial.
Yeah, I probably did a job the day before, and I think I was clean. I was clean shaven.
You did look very clean shaven on the chesticles.
Yeah. So I must have done a shot the day before. I'm going to it right now. I want to see it myself because I just hand them to Megan. Yeah, I look at myself back then. I go, I didn't realize what I had when I had it. Does that make sense?
Of course, youth is wasted on the young.
Yeah, it truly is.
Yeah,
truly is. But yeah,
I love that photo. I thought it was great. That's really funny. People like you photoshopped it.
Yeah.
Also, too, have you met Vinny? Like, why would you ever Photoshop something? You would never Photoshop anything.
Well, I did one the other day for my YouTube, and I ended up putting it on Instagram. Did you see that one? It's I just lifted my shirt up and people wanted to know if I photoshopped that. I'm like, can't you tell that it's just a dude? Serena goes, lift your shirt up. We need to do this for the, for
the thumbnail.
Yeah, for the thumbnail. And I told Megan, I said, just put this up and write, this is 60 next to it. And of course, everyone thought it was my birthday. What the hell just happened? Did you guys hear that?
I heard something. Sounded like the dog scrambled.
No, the dog scrambled. The cat is in here. The cat knocked something over.
Something happened. I'm going to say something about your Instagram. That somebody said something. You did a clip from the episode where we were talking about the struggle of menopause and the importance of keeping to your NSNG during that crazy time of life.
I think I know. I think I know
I happen to be going through.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're going to cover this more. We're going to get more resources. We're going to do some interviews. Things are coming up. So thank you for all of your messages. I got so many messages. Not so many people concerned with how that woman spoke to me, which worried me a little bit, but mostly because women were like, holy shit, I'm going through this. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Can you please cover this more? We will. I'm getting your messages. I've not had time to write people back. But somebody wrote on your Instagram, oh, great. Talking about menopause from a man.
Yeah.
Which, first of all, it's your feed. You can talk about whatever you want.
I didn't
Second
even
of all,
get where she was coming from.
Well, no, I think that like people are so used to feeling mansplained that they get triggered. And I'm like, no, we need more men talking about this. Like we need it. People, and by the way, they're not listening to women. So we need men on our side. So let's be encouraging that people are willing to have this conversation.
Was I mansplaining when I did?
No, you weren't mansplaining. She was being ridiculous.
Okay, I'm going to play it for the group. Let me see if I can find it.
I wanted to thank you for posting that because I feel like we need, like I told you in that interview in the podcast before you play it, I told you in the podcast that when I saw that clip that Leona tagged from Dr. Peter Attia and Andrew Huberman discussing the big travesty of how horribly menopausal research has been handled with regards to the hormone replacement therapy. Like this is what we need because nobody's listening to the women talk about it. And I'm sorry, but like we need advocates and we need allies. We're all in this together. We need intelligent men to speak up about this issue. So please don't discourage intelligent men from speaking up. That's all I'm going to say.
I wouldn't call me an intelligent man, but here's the post. You ready?
Yeah.
Pause. It can pauses everything. If you ask, I've asked every doctor privately. I have conversations. I'm going to be at an event with Nina tomorrow. There's going to be doctors galore, right? But I question these guys, and we talk about women and menopause and the whole thing. I've become good friends with what's her name? Cynthia Thurlow. I'm going to dinner with her and her husband. You know, she talks a lot about Godfrey, who we've had on the show. They will all tell you it's a fight. It's a fight for women going through menopause, perimenopause, pre, post. It's a fight. It's a fight just to keep your sanity. You know, your hormones are changing, your body is changing, everything is changing. It's rough. It's rough. Some women fly through it, no problem. Some other women, they become a different animal altogether, an alien who, women cry to me on the phone all the time. I don't even know who I am anymore. Yeah. I don't recognize who I am. It's not easy. Going back is not the answer.
What's wrong with that?
Apparently, some Karen had a problem with it.
Karenita, please.
Come on,
please
Karen.
Calm down. You know what? I think that's a wonderful quote. And I wonder, listen, again, like you're recognizing, you're identifying, and you're empathizing. What's wrong with what you said? I think it's wonderful. And
well, it came out of
again
his mouth. So, there's a war on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say, I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate that Debbie cut that together and put it up. And I also want to reiterate, I can't even imagine trying to go through menopause without doing NSNG because it has made the symptoms that I have so much less egregious. So I just a little food for thought if you're going through it, and we'll have more information. And I'm receiving your messages and I appreciate it.
Is it okay? Would you like to talk about George and the whole thing?
Yeah, I just want to give an update that a friend of the podcast, former guest of the podcast, George Kolasa, my brother-in-law, passed away yesterday. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see, you already know this is coming out in a couple weeks. So, or 10 days. So I just wanted to, give him a little shout out and love and tribute and listen, the work that Vinny and I are doing is to help you have hopefully a good, healthy, productive life, but eventually something's going to get us all in the end. It's not like we're not cheating death here. We get that that's going to happen, but I do so hope that, people were inspired by his story. People would listen to, I got a lot of comments about how they really enjoyed hearing his story on the podcast. He was on a few months ago, him and his husband, my brother-in-law, Justin, and how he turned his diagnosis into a purpose. And he has raised almost $1 million for rare cancer research, which account for 50% of cancers. Did you know this, Vinny? Rare cancers.
I had no idea.
So brain cancer, pancreatic cancer, ovarian cancer, endocrine, thyroid cancer. I didn't know that rare cancers account for 50% of cancers. Wow. So it is important that these things, and by the way, I want to thank too the people who reached out to me directly. You guys know who you are, who said, I know someone who's doing a trial and a thing, people want to help, and they reached out and I put them together. And so I just thank you to everybody who's a mensch. Thank you to everybody who cared. George led a very big life. He's was a very well loved and connected person. And I love him to pieces. I miss him so much. I've been having a hard time, but I know that's part of the grieving process. And Vinny and I were talking off the air, even when you know that it's coming, it's still really hard. So we were talking about, like, is it worse to get the shocking phone call, or is it, we don't know. It's always tough to say goodbye. But George will be missed. And it's funny that you posted that picture, because somebody wrote on the picture I posted about George, he looks like Vinny. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then that picture you posted today, I was like, you guys do kind of.
I wish I was good looking. Like George was this really good looking man. And
George, oh my God.
Just a picture of health. And look, I mean, my friend Leonard Hill, big time television and movie producer, he got diagnosed with a glioblastoma, and it gave him 6 months to a year. He made it 4 months.
Yeah. George made it a year and a half.
George made it a year and a half. Brian Bishop, my friend who I met over at the Adam Carolla show, known as Ball Brian, he was given 6 months, and he now has some kind of record. He's at 13 years.
Yeah, he's like I think the longest surviving human with the glioblastoma in their brain. He still has his. But
he's a bit of a celebrity, so we actually know who this guy is.
Well, and I want to thank you for putting him in touch with George, because I know that George loved reading his story, loved talking to him. Like, it was just so helpful for people to feel not so alone, And I just.
Cancer is the most lonely thing. No matter how many people are around you, there's this lonely thing to it, and that's the only way I can put it. Yeah.
Well, his legacy will live on. He is very much missed. I love him very much. And thank you guys to everybody who listened to his story and to donated to the cause. That was amazing for you guys to do that.
Is Justin going to keep that going, or?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, listen, it's right now, it's been almost 24 hours since he actually passed. So we're not having a lot of conversations just yet. We're trying to get through the.
Yeah. It is,
Lauren's in East Hampton right now, and Lucy's there with him. So that's good. Yeah.
All right, folks. Hate to end on a down note like that, but
just hug everybody, because you don't know what's going on. We don't know what the next day will bring.
Really the one thing that will bring you up just a bit is Anna Vocino has powders. As a matter of fact, I just bought myself 1 pound of ground beef. Serena's gone again. That whore. So I got the pound, and I got myself what do you call it? I'm gonna make the guacamole. Yeah, the sour cream.
Are you doing taco bowls?
And I'm doing taco bowl tonight, and I'm gonna have leftover meat for the morning, and leftover guacamole. I'm gonna do myself a taco omelet, and the only way to make that possible, folks, is to get Anna Vocino's seasoning from eathappykitchen.com. Do not go to eathappyfoods.com.
No, you won't. Not a site that exists.
No, Eat Happy Kitchen. So you want to go there and get everything she has. Anna, I want to personally thank you for sending me the pink crema. That will come in handy tomorrow night when I do my
Great.
bachelor's chili.
Great.
And also the arrabbiata. I think you said the arrabbiata.
I did because I know that's your favorite.
Yeah. So I'm going to be enjoying that while Serena's out and about.
Right on. And we're pre-selling pumpkin marinara. So I'm only making enough to what people order. We're not a big operation. We can't afford to make a whole bunch. So whatever you guys pre-order for pumpkin marinara, keep in mind, for those of you who have had it and tried it, you know. So I know you guys are going to order it. For those of you who haven't, it's pumpkin marinara. There's no sugar. It's not like a pumpkin spice latte. It's not that. It's a nice mellow thing. It goes great with chicken. It goes great with beef. It has a little cream in there, and it is a great curry starter. I have a ton of recipes at my website and at my Substack of how to use it. And it's very different and delicious. It's so good. I'm obsessed with it, and I cannot wait to get more because I haven't been able to have any. There's some at some grocery stores because we were able to make one batch for the grocery stores that we launched into. So if you live in like Illinois or Michigan or Wisconsin, you have access to it and nobody else does. I can't even get it.
There you have it, folks. You know what to do with me. Before you go to Amazon, go to VinnieTortorich.com, click through the banner. Debbie wants me to tell you guys that we have the NSNG ebook, and
Yes.
she's the one that sends those out whenever you order them. I see everybody that gets it. I see the names. And also,
Oh, that's kind of cool.
the Superfan page. I see who gives to us on the Superfan page.
Great.
And I look at every name every time they come in and thank and just silently thank those people.
Yeah,
And
that's
it keeps
awesome.
this show, folks. I don't make a living off of this. You know who makes a living? The other two women on this show today, Lois and Anna. Anna doesn't even make a living. She doesn't get
I was
paid
gonna say,
enough.
no.
Gabby gets a little something. Megan gets a little something. Yeah, a lot of people get paid, and they keep the show running. So we really appreciate that you guys do that. We talked
Can I
about
say something? The
Sure.
background behind you, that's the portion of salmon that they should have served you.
it was about a
The
quarter.
a fata documentary poster.
it was about
That's
a
the
quarter.
portion you want.
Yeah, that's
Also, go watch Vinny's movie, Fata Documentary.
yeah. We talked about America during the show. So you got to wonder what song did Vinny come up with for America. We're about to find out. So on behalf of Anna Vocino and Lois, Leona Yeager, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living, and let's do it with an American Ride from Toby Keith.